Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Konya Motaku Mario. We have a very full house today, and we have quite a lot to discuss. I think we're on episode 32 this time. Let's get started with the introductions of who's in the studio with us today. First off, we have Turbos86 from everywhere.
Hello.
Hello. And we have Invis.
Aloha.
Aloha. And special guest for this episode, we have Kyyuna.
Yo.
And for once, not the last person, we have Ouroboros.
Yo. Yay.
Yay. And our very second special guest, we have Omari-sama.
What's up?
Famous ota that you guys should all be familiar with. So, as I mentioned, we have very long shows today. Let's get started with some news. This past weekend, we had Yagichi and Yasuda do a 15th anniversary fan club bus tour in Boso. And yeah, one thing you don't expect from the OGs is for them to kind of act all not old people like, I guess. I don't know how to phrase this. I'm sorry, Yagichi. Anyways, but yeah, so one thing over this weekend we noticed was they had their normal dinner and fan meeting where they all get in the same room and everything. And so what they did during one of the night events was they did Romantic Ukari Mode, Mikiti's, I guess, most famous song. And as you know, a lot of Japanese fans are really into the otage for it, where they, start off on the ground and do a lot of crazy moves throughout the entire song. And this time, Yaguchi participated in that. And so if you guys look on the stream, here's a picture from her blog where I don't know who took the picture, but I'm guessing Yasuda. And you see Yaguchi in the middle, and she drew an arrow to point out herself, because that's important. But yeah, she's totally getting into this whole atmosphere of otage with the song. So very.
Oh hey, there's one person in the far back doing the opposite of what
yeah, the reverse one. So it looks like a pretty fun tour. So maybe OG bus tours aren't as boring as we think. Although I'm sure the rest of the tour probably wasn't that cool, but anyways, very cool stuff. Hopefully more OGs will do something like this.
You know what it's like when old people get together.
Yeah, and they've had a few too many drinks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Another thing that happened this weekend, we had on Friday Magazine leaked a bunch of pictures of her and a comedian.
Her?
Sorry, of Ai-chan and a comedian, and supposedly on the article it said that they were in a relationship, but since then we have noticed that both companies have released an official statement saying that they are not in a relationship and they are just good friends. So this whole issue has been discussed to death on almost every Western forum. Yeah, really everywhere.
Even in Japan, I'm pretty sure.
Definitely in Japan, yeah. And since, really the whole thing isn't an issue anymore because both companies are officially denying it, I just wanted to throw a question to you guys because I don't want to spend too long on this topic, but hypothetically, if it were true that she is dating this person, if you read the article, it says that supposedly the comedian waited till after Ai-chan graduated before they officially started dating. Would you guys, okay, assuming this was your Oshimen, so not all of you guys might like Ai-chan, so assuming this is someone you actually care about, but if they waited till after they graduated, would you guys be okay with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
the rule is you don't date in Morning Musume or in one of the groups. Once you graduated, it's free for all. You can date anyone you want.
Right. That's very
And
understanding.
they're slightly more respectful than to, randomly go out to a grocery store. I'm not saying somebody did it on purpose, wink wink, and got caught intentionally, wink wink. Wink wink. What? So, yeah.
Right.
What?
The whole thing where
Yeah.
everybody thought that Mickey got caught on purpose because she didn't want to be in the group anymore. She didn't care.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a whole nother a whole
Yeah.
other thing. But
That was a big thing that a lot of people were claiming that she did that intentionally.
Yeah.
That's really a different
We know
thing,
how
but-
she is. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
that for her, I would not be surprised. Yeah.
I wouldn't there.
I.
But it is more respectful. I think it works well. You know.
Yeah. I mean, she did wait and, or well, hypothetically, I suppose. So, I don't know. Well, hopefully the Ai-chan fans will be able to forgive her, or at least not to act so crazy as they are doing right now. With all the stuff they're
Well,
kind of
sure,
saying.
Are questioning
I
her
should be
taste.
happy for her.
Yeah.
But is it just the Western fans who are?
No, the Japanese fans they're all going like emo suicidal posts on Michan.
Oh.
They're like, I devoted my whole life to you. How could you do this to me? Like, nah, I have nothing left.
74 favors.
Yeah,
Yes.
she turns 25, and the only thing I reacted towards was the age of the guy she's supposedly dating.
I think it's like 12 years younger. or
11 years
something.
difference.
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
That
Whoa,
was
what?
the-
Hey, Soji and
Yeah.
the like.
Yeah, but
Very far apart,
Shoji
too.
needs to die, so that's okay.
What?
Well, if this guy was doing it too, I'm sure everybody would be saying that about him too.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys prefer Yakuch and her husband, and her husband's like younger than her?
Yeah, but it's cool because he's like twice as tall, so it makes up for it.
The height makes up for the other
Yeah.
problems, you know.
So
Well,
okay.
nobody had any problem with Ibon getting up the duff.
Ipan
But
is.
that relationship seems
Yeah,
to
you
last
remember
very
Ibon?
long.
You know, she was. What was it? A long time ago.
That, yeah.
Don't think anybody could
And
forget
that's
it.
why she got all outcasted. It was the whole smoking thing that got her in trouble. So. Slightly
Yes,
different.
everything else was not bonus.
Bonus? I wouldn't call it that, but
Bonus.
yeah, okay.
Scoreboard.
That works.
Moving on. So, post Ai-chan Morning Musume, we find out that for this upcoming single, 123, the dual A-side, that for the first time in Morning Musume history, they are releasing a. I know the dog's really excited as well.
I know.
11 shot, group shot, Polaroid picture if you buy the box set, which
The $100 box.
the $100, the 10,000 yen box set, which has all the different A through F or whatever. And so you have to reserve these, and they went on sale, or well, reservation pre-order last night in Japan, and you can go to the Sony style website, go ahead and pick yourself a copy if you want to get an 11 shot. Personally, this is too AKB for me. I don't know whether it's for sales or I don't really care. I would rather have them have low sales than do this. But what do you guys think?
Smartish did it. Cute did it. I guess they're moving up the scale.
Yeah,
Now
that's
Morning Musume is doing
They've
it.
just realised how much it can increase sales. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
I mean, it
I've been to
definitely
one.
does increase sales. You saw it in the cute thing, but is it worth it to? I'm gonna use this phrase, to drop down to that level to get sales.
It's worth it as a fan to go along and get a picture with them all, even if it is a microscopic picture.
I guess.
Oh.
Mine's got
When
pride
you're
of
doing like an
place.
economy comparison, like when you're talking, is it worth the $100 to get a picture that's the size of a walnut?
Well, put it this way: people are going to buy multiple copies anyway. So why not get them all in box set and get something free as well? It's an added incentive.
So they're being nice to the fans.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
only thing I'm worried about is them doing a lot of other events as well, like handshake events and like raffles for posters and everything, and it's gonna be too much for girls.
204.
Otherwise, I'm fine with this. It's not just
Yeah,
too
but that's
much.
exponentialize how much you have to buy because you'll buy a box set and then you have to buy,
Yeah, it's so much already, so I just hope it won't be too much more of other stuff.
Everyone
other
takes out
ones.
another loan just for this.
Well, we've had a
It's a
comment
bonus
on
second
the
mortgage on my apartment somehow.
we've had a
People.
comment in the chat room about this, where one of our listeners has pointed out that with it being the 50th single, they think that they're going to basically go big with it. They're going to go to do big stuff with it, and it's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's true. they can do it for this single like Kyyuna did with their previous single. They can do the same thing now because it's the 50th single. So
Exactly.
it works, yeah.
It's a milestone. So
Yeah, that's true. So they
people are
can
getting
spend like
photographs.
2 months doing shitload of events for promotion. That's true.
Yeah.
So then, would you
That
guys
is
think this is like
effective
a one-time thing, just for the 50th?
For Morning
Hopefully.
Musume?
Yeah, for Morning Musume,
Yeah.
just them.
Maybe.
It seems like they're experimenting with new things to do besides handshakes. And
But if
release
this is really
events.
profitable, then it wouldn't be surprising if they kept doing it. That's the thing.
Well, I guess if they see return on it, I mean, from a business perspective, they would probably keep doing it until people stop buying it. But
Yeah.
it's-
Considering this is their 50th single, they should do more than just the Polaroid picture.
Well,
If
this
they're
is just
trying to make it big.
the first announcement. They may do more yet.
They may, or it may fall back on their typical pattern of release events and
Yeah.
or nothing.
But the thing is, it's not really that much of promotion for Morning Musume in Japan. It's just for the fans. It's just fan service, basically. What this is. So we can just hope they will do more real promotion of the group to the mainstream audience.
What would be cool, or something I would like to see is they've done it for a few singles. If they rented like those buses with the LCD screens that play the PV non-stop and just drive
drive
through,
around
yeah, Shibuya and like
Those are so cool.
Akiba, wherever.
That would be
Ikebukuro.
cool.
They're really
Yeah.
annoying but cool.
Yeah, they're really annoying, but they like I saw an Arashi one non-stop for like a week, and it's like that song was stuck in my head.
They get
I had
your
sexy songs
attention, yeah.
in my head.
It works, but it's annoying, so
Yeah.
they should do that.
I'd be surprised if they don't, to be honest. I mean,
I
they've
think,
done it with Cute in the past.
yeah, and
I
I
know
think
that.
they did it with Mono too. But I mean, I don't think Berryz or Smilage has ever done it.
Berryz did the even one step further where they were on the bus.
Yeah, that's
That's true. They did have the bus
They had-
chasing moments there.
yeah.
Some of us here has chased after the bus.
There has been some bus chasing in our circle here.
Maybe they'll
But
do
no,
that.
even for the, I mean, just because it's the 50th thing, I guess keeping that in mind, it's not surprising that they did something like this, and just hoping that this isn't the, this is just the tip of the iceberg and not the whole thing. Because if it's the whole thing, that's disappointing.
That's true. Yeah, you would definitely hope.
Wait,
they
I
see
suppose,
something.
yeah, that would mean they were focusing on their own fan base, which they've already got, rather than trying to expand.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why also I think they might have a truck. I mean, that does
video
get
truck?
the message out there, yeah.
A
And
real
it is-
truck and not a stapler that's designed to look like a truck, right?
Well, they might have both.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see what's coming up with that. Hopefully in the next few weeks. Moving on to the news, we have a reminder again from I guess a bunch of different sources, but one of them being I think Mimi's blog, that the final show in Cyyute's spring/summer concert tour ends the June 30th, and it will be live streamed on YouTube. So if you're a foreign fan and you've always been wanting to see a concert, this is kind of the next best thing. Definitely stay up and watch it. It starts at 18:30. Is that stream starting or is that seating opening time? Probably show starting time.
Probably show.
It sounds closer to show starting time for it to be on the 30.
Yeah. So yeah, tune in to YouTube, their Qute channel for that on the 30th to watch them live.
It's free!
It's free.
And it's an awesome concert. If you haven't seen it
Yeah.
or heard video.
Oh
of
yeah,
10
it's
people.
really really cool. You have to watch it.
It's a really cool concert.
ASAP.
You gotta see it.
Don't miss it.
There's
Okay.
lots of awesome flags and stuff.
Not
And-
only
and
the
cool
flags,
video
but the
effects
whole
and
Flags
stage
dropping.
setting is awesome. Yeah. With the
Yeah.
You're missing
the
out the
whole-
most important thing. You're all missing out the most important thing. There's
ID?
cheese.
ID!
ID.
No, cheese.
ID. ID.
Oh, you're all wrong, it's my mind.
Oh yeah, that's right. My
Bye
bad.
bye.
Genki-kun.
New Ace, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah,
Maybe-
so let's move on.
No, fix it unless you have work.
Yeah, you actually, even if you have work, watch it at work.
That works too.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
at every
Watch it anyway.
mobile device,
Yeah.
it's YouTube.
Definitely.
Watch it.
Oh yeah, watch it on your phone. Just do, yeah. Moving into sadder news. We have a report from this past weekend Smilage event at Yamada Denki that
In Nagoya.
in Nagoya. I guess that's where you would expect it to happen. But anyways, so the pink tickets that we've mentioned in a few episodes previously, the ones that are always, yeah,
Sorry.
the ones that are kind of always causing trouble for Hello Project, or at least the girls. Sometimes the other fans, but that's not as common. They were up to their antics again at this weekend's Smilage event. This time, going as far as to shout Sakichi's name when the girls were coming on stage. I don't know if they've done this before, but it's, I guess, another reminder of Sakichi, and that's not something you should be doing for these girls, especially if you don't have anything against them or you claim to be their fans. And then another interesting thing that happened was a lot of the fans, or there was a report that fans were calling Take-chan fat when
Sorry.
when she came on stage, which, I don't know, she's not that fat, but
She's not even fat.
yeah, so that's kind of weird.
I mean, her face is a little bit round, but it's like puberty.
She's definitely not fat at all. None of the Spanish girls.
Yeah, I really don't know where that came from, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a joke or something.
Maybe they're referencing Odenkun's
Yeah, but
round.
Odenkun's not fat. He's just
Odenkun's round.
yellow. Well, he's
Yellow.
I don't
And
know.
big lips. And circle,
Yeah,
That's
so
just being Yakiniku Gundam.
they are.
That's it.
They
They're
are.
Just being,
That's just, yeah.
That's just them being them. Yeah.
That is the
it's one of
bottom
the
line.
worst swear word phrases I can think of.
Listeners are gonna understand what that means, but yes.
Just another name for these stupid people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you hear anyone talking about that, if you're in Japan, feel free to punch them in the face.
Yep.
They're really bad people.
Don't tell them that we told you to do it.
Well, you
Uh-oh.
can tell them that Triple 86 told you to do it.
Okay, yeah,
I
they'll
they know
probably
who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so let's move on to our main discussions though for this week finally.
No, some.
Yeah, it's been a long intro. Turbos, why don't you take the first topic?
So we weren't able to have a podcast last week because we were at an event.
Yay!
A
I
few of
wonder
us.
what event.
I wonder an event in America.
Was
In,
it
What is it?
AKB event?
Oh, was it? Or maybe Momori no Clover.
Yeah, it was Maria Color, that's right.
Oh right.
No, no,
Yes,
that's
it's middle of-
in Paris. Later this month.
The
Already?
Japan Expo.
For real.
For real, yeah.
Okay. That's great. Yeah. That's great.
And so we're not gonna joke around anymore because Turbo 86 will be confused.
Yeah. So anyway, last week, a couple of us went to New Jersey to attend AnimeNEXT, where Berryz Koubou was the musical guest.
Yay!
And they were it's a 3-day con, but Berryz were only there for 2 days, and they had a couple of appearances jam-packed into the days, which fortunately most of the fans who attended were able to get in everything, thanks to the ingenious of the staff there and their perfect timing. Even though they threatened us that autograph sessions weren't guaranteed.
Right.
Right. So let's start off with the flow of the event. First off, on Friday, that was day one of the convention, was the opening ceremony, which Berryz appeared for about 2 minutes.
Ooh, 2 minutes.
Awesome 2 minutes, though.
Yeah. So, right after that, they were supposed to appear at the booth inside a dealer's room where their goods were sold. And when we got there, when we got out of the opening ceremony, the staff there let us outside of the convention, waited, and then let us back inside only after Berryz had already left on purpose.
So they didn't want the fans to actually see
Yeah,
them.
that was so stupid.
Yeah.
Serious.
Can I interrupt your story? One thing about the opening ceremony that really bugged
Yes.
me. So
Yes.
they had some random girl MC that was trying to host
Oh,
it, and
yes.
and then she introduced Berryz,
Right.
and then everyone cheered for Berryz, and then she mentioned that Berryz was going to that booth to do the
yeah.
signing
Yeah.
thing or whatever, and the moment Berryz left the stage, all of the fans got up from the chairs and left the room that the opening ceremony was in, while that host was still trying to carry on the
Yes,
rest of the
guilty as
opening
charged.
ceremonies. Right? Yeah, no, I know, but the thing is, like, that's something you should plan for or expect, especially when they are your guest of honor for the convention, and you have them doing a guest appearance that's like back to back with something else. I mean, like, I feel bad for the girl, but at the same time, I'm not gonna watch her and miss Berryz on account of her.
Even though we did miss Berryz.
Well, but we didn't know that. But
We tried.
it's convention planning. Take that into consideration. Sorry, go
The girl
ahead.
who was singing Rhythm and Emotion at the beginning of that thing?
Yes, she was.
Yes,
Okay.
Which,
Really awkward.
it
I
was
don't-
awkward. I don't know.
I don't know why. We were chanting to it too. So.
There's nothing else to do. There's no Berryz yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
Where
we're
was my
okay.
goods?
Right. Oh, right. Ah, totally forgot about that. Before the Q&A, and not the Q&A, the opening ceremony. The morning. That morning we had the dealer's room open before the opening ceremony, so fans, well, mostly the fans of Berryz could go in to buy enough goods to qualify for a wristband that would not guaranteed an autograph, but give you a priority in the line. They stressed that all weekend, that even if you have a wristband, you're not guaranteed to get an autograph. You're just placed in the front of the line, where you could fail faster than people without a wristband.
One thing they also threw in last minute
Very
was
awesome.
the fact that you can get multiple wristbands.
What?
That was also stupid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Every purchase. Oh,
yeah.
you,
No, go ahead, go ahead.
$40, right?
Yeah.
Every $40, you would every $40 purchase you buy at the Berryz Kobo table, they would give you a wristband for the autograph, and it was not limited to one wristband per person. So in actual, that means if you buy $120 worth of goods, you'll get 3 wristbands, even though you only have 2 arms.
Right.
Right.
And so some people ended up with like 6 or 7.
I think the most I saw was 15.
Whoa.
Holy
Whoa.
crap.
Yeah.
15 times 40, so you do the math.
That's a lot of
And that's why goods ran out so
600.
early. Like,
I thought
I
the
heard
Asians
goods
were good at maths.
ran out almost immediately. And that,
Everybody whip out your calculator.
Yeah.
that'll be
Anyway,
the Joshi math time today. Figure out how much.
That's a
What
bit
is
too
30?
straightforward.
So that was that. And the thing was, the first 20 or so person in line basically bought out the entire booth worth of goods. It's true they didn't bring as much of merchandise as people thought they would. It was all leftovers that
for
upfront gave to them to sell. But the fact that they didn't have a limit on the wristbands gave people in the front of the line the idea that I'll just spend all my money here, and then I'll get a lot of wristbands, and one wristband would give me 1 autograph. So if I have 10 wristbands, I'll get 10 autographs. And with that mindset, the first 20 people in line basically bought out the whole booth, and the whole line was over 200 people. you can imagine how stressed and frustrated the people in the back of the line were.
Rage.
So,
I'm quite
Yeah.
surprised with it being America that there wasn't more gunfights.
Well,
Right?
it's New
Streets,
Jersey,
you know?
so instead of gunfights, it would be like sit-up competitions or something.
Now, if it was over in New York, that would have been different.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, one state over and everything changes.
Yeah.
So that was the first half of the day. Day one nighttime was when the concert was, and that's kind of odd for the concert to be on the day one of the convention. Usually it'd be on the second day, the Saturday night.
I expect it to be on a
Okay.
Saturday. I mean, that's to do it
Yeah,
so
that's-
early. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but there's two things that with Berryz they only gave the convention 2 days, and they didn't want the girls to work on the second day. And also for this AnimeNEXT convention, they usually have their masquerade dance
Right.
on the Saturday night as their main event. They don't consider the musical guest concert to be an event like many of the other conventions in America.
Masquerade is considered their biggest event.
What
that
is
would-
for most except for Anime Expo, but I think most of the conventions are really big on the cosplay, so that's kind of their thing.
Oh. I guess here they do it a little bit differently because we're us.
Uh, you have, I guess, more of a Japanese population, so I think that's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
so the concert lineup was completely different story. They had priority tickets sold online 2 weeks prior to the convention, where anybody who cared bought tickets, and those tickets were numbered Japanese concert live hall style. So
Zep
It was-
Nagoya style.
yes, the set style. It was pretty ordered in a pretty ordered fashion, when people would line up before the show with their tickets.
And rush the stage once the thing opens. And-
Well, they couldn't. From the door to the actual stage, the distance was most 50 yards. No,
Well, you had to go around a corner, so
okay, maybe 60.
yeah, maybe 60.
So there wasn't not much running or anything. The place is not that big. If you've been to Japan, then that place is technically the same size
Fairly
as
small.
TFM Hall, or a little bit bigger. Which is very pathetic.
small. Yeah.
Pathetic.
Nice.
Basically, the concert itself was an hour and a half long. They played a couple of the latest promotion videos of each of the Hello Project groups, including Dream Morning Musume for some reason.
That was weird, but
That was weird.
eh.
Yeah. The concert itself was decent, except that they didn't have a costume change. What do you guys think of it?
It was very misleading because they went off stage and they played a VTR in the middle, which I think was the same as the intro VTR for the Q&A.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And then they came back on stage wearing the same
the same
costume.
They weren't in a.
And that
Oh.
really... I was
That was
confused.
disappointing.
Yeah.
I think we all were disappointed.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
wasn't... I mean, there wasn't even a tearaway, so...
No.
it's
It
too
was
bad.
the red outfit, was it?
Right, which I think that came in at towards the end of the Berry Station. So maybe there wasn't an outfit to transition to, but I don't know. If they're gonna go off stage, I think they could have worked something. But then again, the area was so small that they probably couldn't change very
Right.
securely. I mean,
They
like,
probably had to change in their hotel room
yeah,
and come back.
yeah. I mean, like the
Well,
stage.
Then a tearaway would have been fine.
Yeah, a tearaway would have been one.
It would have
yeah.
worked, but no. Got none of that.
Sad. Disappointment.
And after the concert, it was the following tradition from SakuraCon. There was the Berryz riot.
Oh,
Where,
they did again.
Yes, a
Yep.
crowd of Berryz fans would gather in an open area within the convention and just shout Berryz
Random
cycle
stuff.
enjoy for about 10-20 minutes.
Why are people doing this? It's just,
No, it's weird that they did this. Like, they marched outside to do this rather than doing it inside the hall. Like, they're okay with doing it clearly, but not when you're supposed to. When everyone else is trying to start it. So I don't know.
Last year it was inside the hall, though. Not inside the hall, inside the convention area. This
Well, I mean,
year
like-
it was outside.
But like, not right after the concert ended, when the Japanese fans are starting it. They
yeah, that's
kinda-
when you're supposed to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
When
okay.
I mean, like, they ignored that.
Out.
and then they go outside, and then they do the same thing that they ignored.
Wait, but they didn't take. Did they do that this time? The Japanese people?
Yeah, the Japanese.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And the
American
Berserkers
part-
ignored it. That's weird, because, I mean, several of them are seasoned visitors to Japan who go to the concerts and join in there.
I think they're more into how they relate to each other
Yeah.
mindset more than that. The ending after ending chant is supposed to be loud enough inside the hall to let
Yeah.
the girls hear it.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to be done outside the hall after everything's over, just for the hell of it.
I think they just do it for
I
the
think they
fun.
I think they misunderstand the point of this.
Right.
And I think they do it just to get the people going, whoa, these people are obsessed.
I
That's
guess.
the reaction we got last year.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. I don't know.
It is, but it is, I guess, self-empowerment. And
Yeah.
Or it could. I mean, it could be just be a misunderstanding. Like a really
Of the whole concept.
Or it could just be your misunderstanding the way they are.
maybe.
It's
the
general
reasons they-
chaos, just for the sake of chaos, then that's not right.
No, there was no chaos. It was just yelling.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it's not for any real purpose except to kind of show off in a sense, because you're not doing it to show your support for them necessarily, because they're not going to hear it. And,
Yep.
there's
That's
this
true.
whole realm of like uselessness to it. No offense. That just it doesn't have a purpose besides trying to be unique. Like, oh, they do it in the concert. Let's do it outside the concert. What?
Yeah. So needless to say, we didn't join in.
no.
And that was the first day of Berryz at AnimeNEXT. The second day started off actually very late for Berryz, but very early for the fans, as the fans figured we had to line up from 5 a.m. to attend the first Berryz event, which was at 3 p.m. for some funny reason, unexplainable to me.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And they had a whole let's sign a sheet to put your name down for an official lineup. I know they do this in Japan for some events where fans would take control of putting names in order to make an official lineup, but that's only because
People follow
fans
it.
would people follow it, and fans would actually go off, not hang around in the line
Right.
when they already put their name down to go get food or whatever, and then come back around the time of when the doors open and fall back into the line. But here the concept was totally just like how they did the ending chant. They start off with the concept correctly, but they don't execute it right. So
So
they
basically, they signed the sheet and then they stayed in line.
Yes.
yes. So there was no point to that, basically. And when it was near the time of the doors opening for a Q&A section, which was what the line was for, basically the line the order on the sheet was ignored. Everybody just stayed where they were when just stood up, fall into a line, ignoring the order they put on the sheet, and there was no point. Funny thing was, after the fact that this happened, everybody who were with the line, or they liked the idea of the line, said it was the best thing ever, and that it worked out perfectly when none of it happened.
Wait, what? Who said that? The fans are actually saying that?
Yeah, the people that initiated the line or were all for the line, they thought it was the best thing ever, and that it worked out perfectly as planned.
That's probably because they were at the front since they were waiting there the entire time.
That's right.
And they got it first.
That's what it sounds like.
It's like, oh, that's a brilliant plan. Everything went great.
Yep.
Because it worked for me and
Yeah.
it was first. Like,
I got my correct position. It must have worked.
Yep. Ignoring everybody behind them.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Sounds
not
about
saying
right.
we got yeah.
Sounds legit.
Not saying we got screwed. Not saying we got screwed from the line, but just it was totally unnecessary, and that it didn't work at all. But people think it was awesome. Just wanted.
They make one point though, I have to say, that is that these conventions should learn to have some sort of arrangement for the lining up. Like they should know that people will line up early. And,
The thing with these conventions is, they have a lot of rules, especially the fire hazard rule, where lineups are not permitted 1 hour to 30 minutes before the event starts, and they always underestimate the amount of fans that were showed up for idol groups.
Yeah, they could have moved the line elsewhere if that was a problem.
They had to move and improvise areas for the lines. Yeah, so but before the convention started, they had no anticipation of the amount of people that were showed up for just these idol events. So nothing didn't work out.
Yeah, well, let's hope that they learn from this now.
Nobody would learn. Nobody would learn.
this is like the third time, right?
This is,
We're not gonna
fourth
learn
time,
from
fourth.
this.
Yeah, but it's a different convention this time. They haven't had idol groups before, right?
Well, SakuraCon didn't learn. They had Hanger and Angry and Berryz. They didn't learn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anime Expo had AKB48 and Morning Musume. They didn't learn. And this is AnimeNEXT first time with an actual idol group, so I don't think they'll learn either. Yeah. Anyways,
So-
ignoring that,
So how many fans are going to turn up for Kika, do you think, in Atlanta?
Ika,
About 20.
oh, 50
It's
at
really
most.
hard to tell because I mean, Kika by herself.
Well, maybe more than when Mano Elena came over to Los Angeles for her movie premiere, which was she wasn't she didn't come for performing, merely as a to promote her movie. I guess that's why the turnout was pretty low. Kika this time is actually advertised as a musical
Performer.
guest.
Okay.
Yeah, she will be performing and having autograph sessions, so I think the turnout would be a little bit better than Mano Elena, but I wouldn't expect too much. Anyways, back to the AnimeNEXT on the day 2. For the first day, the first event of the day at 3 p.m. was the Q&A, which the lineup failed, and there were people cutting in line as well, so that's also another thing, that the sign up thing didn't work. And for what happened during the Q&A, it was pretty much a big mess and not what everybody expected. As people who have been to SakuraCon the previous year or watched videos of it, Q&A back at SakuraCon for Berryz was a typical convention style Q&A where the guests would sit behind a table and have an introductory talk, and then some people in the audience get to ask questions back and forth, and that's about it. This time, because they were so tight on time for some stupid reason, the intro part was just a video of the same thing they showed during the concert, and
It's that generic Together a
Yes, it
video.
was a generic video
Just-
with the other members' names and all that. And the actual Q&A part was they set up a mic in the middle of the room, where the same place where they had held the concert. People could line up to go up to the mic. They can either ask a question or present gifts to the members. Can't do both. And that took up a good portion of the hour.
It was weird they did that and they didn't let the gift giving thing be done during the autograph time. Is usually that would happen. So instead of feeling like a Q&A, it was more like a gift giving session, really. Because I think there were only like maybe 3 or 4 questions. I don't know.
3 or 4 good questions.
Well, yeah, not like "Can I hug you?" or something.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Well, that sounds like more like a kind of a planned error on the part of the whoever planned all the events to ensure that the autograph time was just something that they could churn out really quick. Because if you have to like gift giving happen in between that, then it can cause time stalls and things like that. Well, autograph is just okay. Here's the thing. Sign the thing. Next, you know, go from there.
Yeah, that
sounds like a time management plan.
Possibly, but they should have, I don't know, not called it a Q&A then.
Yeah,
It's more just
call
like
it
a fan session or something.
fan meet.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I'm glad it how this turned out was that there was a group of people who planned to sing to Berryz. In particular, the
get
song. No, they didn't get to.
Yay!
They wanted to sing "I Wa Katsu,"
Yay!
the song originally by Kan.
Best song ever.
You guys remember the song last year for the earthquake charity that Upfront did. Their purpose was to sing the song to Berryz to appreciate how much after going through an earthquake that they would come here to perform for us twice. I mean the logic behind it is good, but choice of song could be better, and I don't think everybody in the audience would share the same sentiment.
I'm gonna come
yeah.
out and say it was a really stupid idea, and it's exactly like, or it's very similar to the plan when Berryz performed "Because Happiness" at their concert, and the fans tried to sing the cute version of the song. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just hilarious.
Yes, it is.
yeah,
Yes.
it's as sad as it sounds. So, I mean, without going into any specific trolling statements, I just want to, share a sentiment that most of the Japanese fans had, which is basically, if you're at a Berryz event, stick to Berryz songs. Don't sing someone else's song at a Berryz event. That's
Yeah, we actually had a chance to ask some Japanese fans afterwards, and that was exactly the words that came out of their mouth.
yeah. It's like, why are you here to support Berryz, but then sing like a cute song or a Kan song? That's,
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
it made no sense to them. They probably think all overseas fans are weird now,
Or stupid.
or both.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with stupid, but
Okay, that works. And so that's with the Q&A, and afterward was the autograph session, which was very stupidly handled at first. When at the end of the Q&A section, the host, Yas, or Dragon Lady, as some of
Dragon
us
Lady.
know her,
The legendary.
she basically said, this is the end of the Q&A session. Now we're gonna have the autograph. What the girls are assigning only official merchandise, and she explained the rules. And then she pointed at the bottom of the stage. You guys can line up starting from over here, and bam, chaos.
Bum rush.
Best
Yeah.
idea of a line.
Best ever. Yep.
But he wasn't
So,
looking.
so everybody rushed to that corner of the room, and the whole
Fights.
it was almost a fight. They were,
Round what? Matches.
there were people pushing,
Yeah.
pushing and shoving, and
I am not surprised.
yeah.
There's not
The-
a lick
the
of
only
surprise
good
at
thing-
my face.
Yeah, the only good thing that came out of that though was they rushed the girls for during the signing. The staff rushed the girls, and basically everybody in the line got around once at least.
Okay.
I think they were really lucky about that for how they handled the whole organization of it. Because if
Yeah.
people got cut off, they would be like, why did you not, start the line on the other side? Or, because it really gave preference to
Oh,
anyone who was sitting on that side.
Oh yeah, there would have been a lot of whining.
There would have been a lot of whining, yeah. So they're lucky that everyone got through at least once. Or as far as we know, everyone got through once.
I think everybody did because I saw about 10 of the first people with more than wristbands
Well, the thing
got
is, like,
through twice.
because
I
I
think
was
so.
at the end, or near
Yeah.
the end, and what they did was the dragon lady had a staff guy go over and it's like, okay, which of you guys haven't gone yet? And then someone raised their hand, and then they took that as the end of the line, assuming that guy was actually the very last person. I mean, they didn't actually verify. There is no way to verify because everyone has the same wristband, so
True,
they just kind of went. That's how they assumed everyone went through once.
true.
They should have taken the wristband off them as they were going through. It's like,
They
did-
they
they
cut
do,
them off,
they do.
yeah. But if you had
oh
multiple,
right, they did. Okay.
then
Yeah.
you
But if
wouldn't
you
be
have-
able to tell.
If you have 20 wristbands, you,
Yeah,
you
true.
in theory go around 20 times.
Yeah,
If the autograph was 20 hours long.
right.
So basically, the Japanese have gone home thinking the Americans are stupid, crazy, and rude. Rather than
And
just
greedy.
Sounds-
You forgot greedy.
Like,
Greedy, yes,
Sounds about right.
and greedy.
sounds right. But then we can't defend for all the Japanese fans as well. Some of them were guilty of buying way too many goods, way too many wristbands, and tried to light up for way too many things. So everybody
Everyone's guilty.
was showing their primitive side that weekend. I'd say.
There is no better time than a con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're
Like
you're
a-
almost promoting that sort of behavior when you organize it that way. I mean, when you're not saying one per person, when you're not saying there's a specific way to line up, just it's like free for all lineup. So
And I guess that's
Yeah.
why 2 years ago, Morning Musume in Paris, I didn't get squat. Because I didn't show my primitive side through the entire thing. I showed a very civilized, queuing for everything side, and it's like, oh dear, I didn't get it. Oh well. None of this
one-
fighting throughout.
One thing I'd like to add during the
Yeah.
Q&A,
Yeah.
there was a fan. He decided to come up. He came to give Berryz a gift. Now, little did I know, he was wearing an AKB shirt.
oh my god,
So
Yeah.
as he went up, he was on camera, so you get to see him like on both projector screens with AKB on his back, and so you hear everybody in the Q&A just booing at him. Now, as the funny part was, I guess, when he turned around and Barry saw that he was wearing an AKB shirt, it's pretty funny to watch. Me, at least.
She's just thrown it back at him.
He's not looking, or he's not watching, he's not paying attention. All of a sudden, boonk.
yeah. I have to say, like, regardless of how you feel about berries or idols or whatever in general, or the AKB versus HP thing, like when they're actually there in person, you should have a little bit more respect towards the group.
There's just some things you don't do.
Yeah, I mean, like, as much as I'm anti-AKB, I would not like purposely go to an AKB event just to wear like an HP shirt, because that's a waste of my time. So, that's just don't do that in the future.
I mean, you don't know if he was trolling or not. It could just be that he was wearing an AKB shirt because he likes AKB and he didn't have Berry's goods. But the thing is, he should
No.
Well, okay.
Berry's goods.
So the
They
solution to
plan-
that is don't wear the AKB shirt at a Berry's event.
Yeah.
Just
That-
wear a rival group.
I assume he has more than one shirt in his wardrobe.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, there comes into question whether it was malicious or not. And I'm just... trying to point out. It could just be that
Well,
he
so
doesn't-
there were further reports about the same guy, that he was trying to like steal stuff from,
Hello Party.
yeah, like a
Okay, so he's an idiot.
visual screen or something. I'm not really sure the details.
Yeah, Captain Visual Screen or
Uh-huh.
a towel, something of that sort.
He's an idiot.
I believe
Okay.
it was a visual screen, and it. From what I heard, it was the end of the party where they were cleaning up. Actually, near the end of the party, and the guy apparently claimed that he asked people if it was if this belonged to anybody, and nobody replied to him. He said, and he said, if it does not belong to anybody, then it's free game for just to take.
That
Yes, I'll
makes-
just take this £70, well, it's a $100 visual screen.
Right.
Obviously doesn't belong to anybody because nobody heard me ask, is this anybody's?
Right.
God.
Yeah, that's. I wish the world worked like that. I go into the supermarket.
Yeah.
Are these eggs belonging to anybody? No, I'll just take them home, cook them.
It's just disappointing.
So
Mankind
you were
bogs down.
so you were trying to defend the guy having no clothes or no berries gear to wear.
I
to
still
the
defend that if
day.
you go to an event and you're not doing it maliciously, if you're doing it
Yeah.
because for some reason you think, oh, all idols must support each other, then you're stupid and you should know better. But it's not malicious. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh, you're
I
evil
mean-
and I hate you.
He could have worn
But
normal
apparently
clothing
this
with
guy
no logos
is.
on it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that you're just stupid to kind of be like,
Yeah.
all idols must support each other. I'm just gonna wear this AKT shirt. Like, that would just be ignorant.
Yeah.
But apparently this guy was evil and he deserves
At
to be
least
boiled
criminally
in fire,
minded.
lava, sun, shot, etc.
So there was
Anyway,
more than
you can
just
go
this
on with your
guy.
story.
Yeah, there was more than just this guy who were malbehaving at the whole in that weekend. There were other people who apparently had good luck and ran into Berryz Koubou throughout or in the area of the convention, ran into the girls, be it intentional or not. And some people took the chance to make how should I call this? Spy video.
Fuck him.
Wait, they
Yeah.
actually filmed the girls?
Yeah, there were
Yes.
videos.
Oh wow, I did not see that.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure it's to be
you-
expected.
if-
and
If you're interested, it's on Hello Online, the last page right now of that thread.
Wow.
Yeah, just to point to a couple of videos. I'm pretty sure in some of the videos the girls weren't aware that they were being filmed.
So
Ooh.
what's the circumstance behind the filming? Like what area? Convention? Hotel?
Hotel. Oh,
Wow.
there were
Wow.
a lot of videos.
And okay, so what type of people record? I mean, were they Berryz fans or just anime?
Berryz fans. Very sad.
Okay.
I don't know.
I never understood that about the foreigner fans. It's like if you're a fan going to this type of convention, you're probably familiar with the general rules. And if you aren't, well, they were clearly stated during the Q&A and any other event that photography and video is prohibited. But you go and do these stalker things and post them online publicly, like to try to brag about it or something?
I guess they're not bragging; they're sharing.
Okay, well, sharing something that you know you're not supposed to do with,
Well,
you know.
I hate to have to play devil's advocate for that, but a lot of those stupid people, when they hear, oh, no photography, no filming, they think, oh, okay, so for this event, and once we're done with this event, I can go follow them around and be stupid. And that's them being stupid. I mean,
So,
you're talking about America here.
well, yeah, I know, but it's like I don't think anyone's that's naive to think that some rule like that only applies to like when you're on site or something. I don't know.
Inside particular events.
Yeah, I mean I find it hard to believe that anyone would reason like that. If they do, then I feel sorry for you, and I apologize you're retarded. But that's I don't know.
Oh well. Oh well,
America.
so we'll see what happens in September with Kika in Atlanta.
That's probably going to be even worse because I think she'll have less staff.
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
And since she's under Universal, they probably don't care as much about the photography, so people probably going crazy during her performances.
It's gonna be harder to run into her though. She's only one person.
That's true. But
And it's
We'll
not
see
like
what
HP where you figure that they're gonna do little touristy things.
yeah, they could do touristy things.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Probably. But yes, if there's anything else, anything good to sightsee in Atlanta.
I have no idea.
No, never been.
No.
You could see where the Olympics was really long time ago. I really have no
Oh.
idea what's in Atlanta.
Of course, Atlanta's where they filmed The Walking Dead, so you can see the city
Oh,
where all the
that's
zombies are.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
that's
that's what Kika wants to see.
Exactly, yeah.
Because she's a big fan of The Walking Dead.
She'd probably. How do you know she isn't?
That's true.
You've been stalking her, haven't you?
Yes. I'll be posting videos shortly.
We have her bug.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next topic.
Okay.
And Viz, why don't you take this one?
Wait, that's the third topic. The next topic.
Yeah, no, let's skip the
Okay.
middle topic.
Okay. If you guys have been watching any of the HP on TV during the past week, Sayu was on Aho Yanen Suki Yanen, which is a nice little variety show.
Yay!
This time, on her appearance, they were basically talking about a behind-the-stage documentary into the concert life. So you got to see behind the scenes of the Ultra Smart concert, and there were a couple of things that came up. I mean, you know, a lot of it was okay. You get to see really what goes on behind the scenes, how the staff works, and writing really small on bottles and things like that. But there were a couple of factors that came up during the question time where they got to talk to the girls, which were pretty interesting. And one of those things was that during one of the points when they were coming in, they're getting ready and everything, and the guy ends up asking them, like, okay, so when does hair and makeup happen? And was it Reina? I believe it was Reina.
It was Reina, yeah.
And she says they pretty much do their own hair and makeup. And, this comes to kind of a surprise because normally when you think, oh, these are celebrity people, they got to do things that they would have professional hair and makeup on scene for it. But for concerts, they have to do their own.
It was very interesting to see the two hosts from Aho Suki have like a really big reaction to the fact that they do their own hair and makeup. In particular because from their reaction, it felt like having professional hair and makeup was almost something that was a standard given for anyone in the entertainment industry. And also the two hosts were guys, so it's even kind of more of like a double shock that girls, idols, are doing their own hair and makeup for like a performance in front of 3,000 people. So it's really interesting to see the dynamic of how things go on backstage. We get a hint every now and then that it's a bit more crude than we think it is, because Sayu often vlogs about how she changes her hairstyles between shows. But then, even then, I always assumed it was like someone did it for her, because she would always say something like, "Oh yeah, I did braids today," and then the next day she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how to do braids," or something.
Although apparently she does them very well now. But yeah, no. For some of it, for sometimes there are blogs and things like that, like, oh, somebody helped me do my hair. But it was always, the hair thing, so it's always kind of this implication that, oh, somebody must be helping them do their makeup so that they can get it done really quick.
Yeah.
And do the touch in between and things like that. So it really is a surprise how much they have to do on their own when they're at these concerts.
At least it means they're doing the hairstyle how they like it.
Well, we assume it's that way now, but if you go back, 5 years ago, it was more like, make sure you're not copying what someone else is doing, rather than you like it.
Oh, you mean Jujun?
Yes, Junjun and Sayu. But nowadays it's okay because Sayu's happy when Riho copies their hairstyle, so it's completely different. But so I guess we can assume that it's because they choose to do their own hairstyle.
I wonder if this is why so many of them are getting their hair cut short now, because it's much easier to sort out.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot more comfortable during concerts too.
You mean not because Sun-kun says it's cool this year?
Yeah,
Every year is
Exactly.
the shortcut year.
that's just smilage.
So sad.
Can't wait for Acho to cut it short again.
No. As long as Konya doesn't, it's okay.
That's right.
And then there's always the fear that me will cut her hair short again.
Oh,
Anyway,
extensions. Yeah.
yeah, then just extensions. One of the other things that they also commented on was the fact that they end up getting their own food at whatever they need to, and this includes not having that kind of thing where somebody will go get the food for you, including having your kohais, your juniors, do things for you, which is not just like a whole concert dynamic thing, but that's actually very much a Japanese cultural thing where usually the newer person or the kohai person would have to do things for other people, get them key, things like that. So this in itself is a pretty big kind of standard. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, do you feel like that's really just because of how Morning Musume is now, or that it's because they're so
totally.
young?
It totally is how probably could say even it's a legacy left behind by Aichan. How the whole at-home Musume is, how everybody's a big family instead of I'm bigger than you, I was here first thing.
Nah, it's just cutting corners, saving money.
Well,
Or that.
I mean, in the other companies, it seems like it's your kohais doing it, so that wouldn't be like a money issue. But it's weird. I mean, I would be interested to see like if it was before and after the at-home style, if they had kohais, running around as slaves for the senpais. Because right now it seems it's really casual, and like I mean, everyone has their own preferences for how assimilated they are to Japanese culture, but it feels, if you watch the documentary and some of the stuff from like the Backstage DVD magazines, it feels too casual for me when it's like supposed to be a strict, well, not strict, but when it came from a strict kohai senpai relationship, and you have these like young 12-year-old girls just kind of acting out as doing whatever they want, and
You mean Mata?
yeah, exactly. And it's like there's nothing wrong with it right now, but it gives me the worry, like what happens when one of them, like you actually can't control, and they start going crazy, like basically Kago and Suji back in the old days. And we haven't had that in a long time, but the group's getting a lot younger now, so with this at-home self-discipline style, I mean, Sayu and Reina's not going to say anything. I think Reina might, but I don't even know. It would be more like brushed off rather than someone you actually listen to for like long-term retention or discipline anyways.
But this become an issue because they're doing this, and this is basically their work, so they're getting a lot of exposure to possible bad habits that could affect them in the future.
Right.
If they do end up having to, I want to go to college type, especially because they're so young and they don't know what they want to do yet, if that ends up being their thing, then they're going to have a hard time adjusting to being a regular person out the door.
Yeah. But actually, you bring up a good point. Like, this is, I mean, yeah, they're kids, but this is still a professional environment. So, I mean, how do you balance that? Like, do you expect them to behave professionally, or do you give them a lot of leeway because they're kids? On the one hand, I mean, like, they're like 12, 13, but on the other hand, you're giving them a salary, so...
You know what's weird though? They're so they let Morning Musume act so relaxed, but at the same time they stress out Smash so much, and the new members are all in the same age group.
But is it different management? Is that the reason
Of course,
why?
different managers.
Yeah, is that the reason why, do you think?
That's funny though, because Smash is supposed to be smiling.
And more recently, it's been like Rinapu depressed Lich.
Yeah, it's not been
Or emo
smile-age for a
emo
long
lich.
time.
Emo Lich, Brown Lich, whatever you want to call it. Morning Musume is supposed to be the more serious flagship
Right.
group. Yeah, so it's a role reversal here. Maybe they should switch the managers.
That Smiley's manager, like, he scares me. when he yells at the girls. So I don't know. I
So
hope
I don't think they should swap them. No way.
they should send that manager to AKB.
They should send him somewhere else, another country or something.
That works.
They should devote him to XKT.
They should manage Sashi. Keep her in check.
Give him Mogi to control.
Poor Mogi would quit so fast if that guy was the manager for her.
Yeah. But back to the thing that you were talking about earlier, in the difference between Smilage and Morning Musume. I wonder if it came about because of something Ai-chan actively brought. I mean, the thing is, you can say that Ai-chan started this whole thing, but I think if she did, she only had a chance to because management loves her so much. I don't think anyone else, if they tried to do it, would, or if upper management wouldn't listen to any other leader except for Ai-chan.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, like if Gaki tried to do some at-home thing, they'd probably be like, no, that's not going down.
But also the fact that a couple of the managers back when Ai-chan was around, I don't know if they're still around. The female managers at least, a few of them were younger than Ai-chan.
Right.
And entered the company later than her.
Right. That made everything kind of awkward.
Yeah.
So that made them Ai-chan's the management were below her.
Yeah.
We're giving Ai-chan a lot of credit here, but
Well, that's even been unintentional in that sense, though, because, you know, she just gives out what she would think kind of thing, and then it just be like, oh, okay, not realizing how much they would take what she says at that value. So it's not like
I could see that. Like Ai-chan not
pushing it.
realizing people are actually listening to her more than she's...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe she thinks she's just like, you know, spouting ideas for a general brainstorm, but people are taking her like seriously, like by face value for what she's saying.
it's like if we don't do that, the CEO will kill us.
I just think she just flashed that big smile of hers and everyone goes, yeah, okay. We'll do what you want.
Also another charm of her.
Possibly.
Yeah, exactly.
So Ayacho needs to step it up.
Yeah. But
I mean, if you sit on that show, then she might end up, you know, just complaining about it more, and then we've got a whole different situation on our hands.
Pico, 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 pico.
yeah, definitely.
You know, we're talking about that whole Kohai Senpai relationship and how things are going. And really, a lot of it is kind of not there anymore. Even when we talk about, like, things that are outside of one group in itself. I just think that that's not happening as much.
Yeah, everything's all blurred in Hello Project right now in terms of who's a senpai, who's Kohai.
Right.
Even especially how the whole the leader of the whole Hello Project, usually that's just not a very, it was a very important position, but there's no actual status or anything attached to it.
It's just a reflection of the westernization of Japanese culture.
I guess so. And there's been this whole argument that since Sayumi is now Morning Musume's leader, but she is usually the Morning Musume leader would by default become the Hello Project leader, but in technicality comes to play, then Shimizu Saki of Berryz Koubou has higher seniority than Michishige Sayumi. And it makes this whole Senpai Kohai thing very blurry.
That's a good thing, though. Captain should be in control.
Well,
that's never come into play yet, though.
yeah,
so.
I think we'll see something this summer maybe about
With the
they'll sort it
Hama
all
Pro
out.
Con?
Yeah, the Hello Pro summer tour. Or I don't know. I hope they don't sidestep the whole thing because it's kind of an important issue that they should address. Especially if they do another like Mobeki Mas thing.
Yeah, that's right. So it just reflects on how the whole Hello Project as a group and company is not clear on how this Senpai Kohai thing works anymore. Even though they stressed it on when they appear on TV, they stress so much about I'm what generation? She's my senpai and all that.
Right. But going back to the show, like they, it's a good point. They always introduce like what generation they are, and like when I joined, and then like all these people are my senpai or whatever. And then at least naming wise, they still like for the
Do
most.
it in that order.
Yeah. Well, the order, and but at least for the senpais, they'll usually still add the san after the names, and then they usually go more casual for same gen or below.
Right.
Which is kind of what was. It's like it seems like there's a senpai kohai thing, but only for show, and it's very superficial at that. Which is probably what surprised the two hosts on Aho Suki when they kind of ran into all this backstage and found out how casual everything was. Because it seems like we're exposed to this because we follow all the backstage footage and whatever videos that they upload online, but the rest of the media industry, at least, or the entertainment industry, it's still a very rigid structure, at least for comedians. So I mean, do you guys think that this is it's like a beneficial system? I know Ai-chan wanted this for whatever her own reason is, but now that she's gone, like, should they stick with this kind of casual thing or go back to what everyone else is doing?
But they can't ask the girls to revert back all of a sudden.
Well, they can't revert back, but they can, like, starting from 11th gen coming in, teach them that there are certain things you have to do and certain things you can't do. Yeah.
I'm sure they
Could
will do that.
reinforce the mentor system that they used to have,
Right.
sort of. That would kind of force the younger ones to kind of be more aligned, to try to get everybody back into a formal atmosphere.
That also takes the current members to take up role as more of a leader role.
Right, which is even more tough since they got rid of Aika. There's no one really to do that.
Yeah, and the 9th gens are not experienced enough to do that yet.
Right.
So
That just means the 11th gen will be everybody's bitches.
Or
Yep.
Karen will be immediately promoted to leader.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
okay.
So we're looking
That
at
works.
potential chaos for the future at first, and cut in at best probably.
Karin Senpai, I like that.
Colin Johnson.
Karin Sensei, I don't think she's that high up. She's teaching everyone else to dance now and everything.
Yep.
That would be, she can teach Sai to dance, I'm sure.
Teach who?
Sai.
So,
Oh man.
Or maybe teach Sai to sing, I don't know.
I don't know if anybody can teach Sayu to sing any better than Sherry does,
That's a good point.
but we'll see. There's a lot of things to look forward to or potentially fear, depending on who you are. We'll see where it goes from there. Okay, so if everybody's done, no last comments from anybody?
Nope, take it away.
We'll grab the range from the show and start wrapping things up. Hopefully everybody's good to go. This week, if you guys haven't been checking out our website, that's takamaruyo.net. We've got some small things here and there going on, still good reads. As always, you can come to our website and check out our Takamata pick. Last week's Takamata pick has... I really don't know what to say about that Takamata pick. It's Momoko though, so if you want to check it out, you can go ahead and check that out. As always, we're looking for suggestions. We do have a link on the main page so that you can go to our forums and suggest pictures. We've got a couple up for this week already, in the running, but if you want to contribute, go right ahead. And we'll see what happens as time goes on. So, I want more fan submissions. Fan submissions are awesome. As usual, not every week, but frequently, we do have our Takamaruyo Mondays. This week we've got information up there. So if you're, falling behind for a couple weeks, couple months, you need to catch up. Takamaru Mondays, all of the information from the past week kind of compressed into simple bulleted list with links to sources, so you can see anything that you want to. We've got our forum, that's forum.takamaruyo.net. We've talked about the topics that we talked on here, there. We've also talked about things like the Cho Happy song. We've talked about the zombie play Stacy's. All of that stuff, anything you want to talk about, you can go there. Got a section for HP stuff. All of that stuff, go in there. Talk, leave comments. You can leave comments about the show. Any comments that you want to leave can be in the forum or on the comments for the articles themselves at takamaruyo.net, Or since he wasn't here, you can always email sanrio@takamario.net and give him some interesting conversations. You can blame him for any problems you had with today's show and any problems with anything on the website.
We're still waiting for that first mail.
Yeah. And, you know, when that happens, we might actually celebrate it somehow. So,
Yeah.
you know.
We'll send you a Takamario t-shirt. Whoever's the first email.
We'll dedicate an episode to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might actually be able to do that if it comes in soon enough.
Yeah.
So, you know, as always, we're looking for new info, all input, join our community, be a friend, read our stuff, enjoy what we've got. If you're listening to this for the first time, know that we provide the episodes on the website as well as on iTunes if you haven't. And you can check out our Twitter and leave us feedback. We're on Twitter as Konya TKMR. So that should be everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 32 of Konya mo Takamario. This is Invis speaking for S. Ferris, Trebles86, Ouroboros. We've had a lot of people. Kyyuna and Omari saying bye, Pone.
See you.
Bye bye.
Why no?